Hello, welcome. Today I just wanted to do a little quick video about some brands that are on my radar that I haven't tried yet. Right now we're like a week away from Black Friday Eve, so these are brands that are on my radar for Black Friday, but also some of them I know they haven't launched my perfect launch yet. So we're gonna get into the brands and the reasons I haven't tried them yet. The first one is Copacetic. And I feel like the creators that I watched on YouTube really didn't talk about them, and I was kind of like late to realizing that they were like putting out new, really good looking shades. It was really from like Instagram swatches that they became like highly on my radar. I've filled up my cart with them several times and I just haven't felt the need to check out. I don't know. I'm really excited about some shades. They have this like Santa baby eyeshadow and a matching nail polish. So cool. They have really cool looking nail polishes. I know like Transmutation is one that I'm interested in. They have holographic ones that I'm intrigued by, but I do want to look at more swatches first and see if they like actually are as cool as they sound. I think chances are I'll end up making like a small purchase from them. Sometimes I get caught in this like gray area where like I don't want to purchase things that I can already tell will be dupes in my collection, but I do want to purchase enough to make like a whole eye swatching video around. I think I need to just let go of that though and just get like maybe a couple nail polishes, maybe just a couple of eyeshadows. And really if I do a couple of eyeshadows from a couple of the different brands I'm gonna talk about today, I could just make a video about trying 3 new brands all in one, something like that. So if you've tried Copacetic and you have any recommendations, any good products, bad products, let me know. Any of these brands, let me know. I always love crowdsourcing information about these brands. The next brand is Fantasy Cosmetica. I love the little A at the end of their name. They just like went ahead and did that, and I think that's so cool. I've been eyeing the Druid palette, which was their first launch, I think back in the summer, and it just has really nice looking like grungy warm tones, but then shimmery greens, and there's that one green that just looks so like bright and light and unique, and it's like the exact kind of grungy color story that I enjoy. The quality seems really nice. The price seems pretty inexpensive. I think it retails for like around $30. And I find indie brands have some of the best sales sometimes, so I'm really curious what they're going to be doing. And I'm probably gonna pick that one up. They have other palettes that they've released more recently too, but the color stories just don't call to me the same way that Druid does. But it's possible that if I get Druid and I love it, that I'll be more tempted in the future to get the other ones too, because they are cute. The next one's another palette brand, Simply Posh Cosmetics. They've been on my radar since I first saw a creator that I follow on Instagram swatching the Northern Lights palette, and it just looks so good. They all just look like kind of like Adept quality shadows, and I'm pretty sure Adept, the shadows I've tried at least, have been private labeled, and I think these are private labeled too, so maybe they are the same thing, but the color story just looks so cute. The quality looked really nice, but I don't think they're restocking that palette anymore. Last I saw about it was in a comment where they said they weren't restocking it like for the summer. Maybe they'll surprise us and do it again for Black Friday, but there's no listing for it on their website, so I'm a little bummed about that. They have released other palettes more recently that I think do look cute and good quality, but they just don't compel me enough to want to purchase an entire palette. I know one of their palettes, at one point, they were offering the shades as single shadows, and if they did that again, I might be tempted to pick up a couple different colors and try out their formula, but I don't think I'm going to go ahead and buy one of the palettes they have now. But maybe in the future, or hopefully they'll bring back Northern Lights. The next one's Touch of Glam. And I think this is one that like maybe people would be surprised that I haven't tried yet. I feel like they're a pretty big contender in the indie single shadow realm. My hang up with them has been they're expensive and they have long processing times. I totally understand that. Those are both clearly markers of a small brand, and we're here to support small brands, but I've just never been excited enough to press the button, to spend like close to $100 on like 4 shadows that I won't know if they're good or not for like months. Like, I think their processing time is usually like 3 months. That's what I heard. So I don't know. It depends on their sale also, but I'm pretty sure the last cart that I made where it came close to $100, I'm pretty sure that was during a sale too. But I do, like, I know what shadows I would get. I did like a crowdsourcing on Instagram and I got some recommendations, and I looked and I saw what looked like the most me shadows out of those. And maybe I'll have that moment where I decide to go ahead and do it, but I'm just not sure. Little side note while I'm editing, my boyfriend really likes the show Nathan For You, and he showed me a couple episodes of it, and the whole like idea is that this guy gives kind of like bad business advice to like businesses, and then they go ahead and do it. So there's this episode where they were like, you can advertise that your pizzas will be delivered in 10 minutes or you get like another pizza for free. And the guy's like, we can't deliver in 10 minutes. And he's like, yeah, but you'll bring like a little mini pizza with you, and that's the free one. And the mini pizza is like really tiny, like an inch big, you know? And everyone gets mad about it and chaos ensues. Very funny. But Touch of Glam like did that. They I saw someone post that they had a promotion that you get like a free, I think, Lucid Hollow with your order. And when they came in, they were like little mini pans. So like, sure, they're doing it, but like, it felt a little scammy. I don't know. The next one is Dandelions Cosmetics, and I've heard a lot of people say really good things about their matte quality over on Instagram, and they also are really inexpensive. A couple months ago, I had filled up my cart during one of their sales, and I was just like, I'm gonna wait for Black Friday. I've really been waiting for Black Friday, which is why it's so funny that it's just coinciding with this time of me being very careful to not pick up dupes and everything, because I kind of did think I would go a little crazy, and like now that it's coming up, I don't know how crazy I want to go, but I digress. They have some really beautiful looking blue mattes, which I feel like my collection falls a little short on, and some neutral mattes, which are some of my favorites to use. And I think there's a good possibility I'm gonna get a couple of those, and it'll probably be a really inexpensive order, and I'll be able to try out their formula. They also had some nail polishes, and I remember there was like a yellow shiny one that looked really pretty. So I'm curious about those too. The next brand is Kaleidos, but I'm starting to feel a little bit like about Kaleidos because we are 2 months shy of it being 2 years since the last time they released a 15 pan palette. I don't know if like my impression from seeing YouTube and stuff is different from their actual like sales, because they put out these quads that just look so boring to me, and I feel like no one talks about them, but I feel like people are still talking about Club Nebula and about Escape Pod. There was a while that I thought I would probably end up purchasing Escape Pod like this Black Friday, and now they're getting closer. I just don't feel that excited about it. Like, I like the color story. I love pinks and purples and neutrals, and that palette definitely has it. But I don't know, something about like, I think they already announced their sale and it's 20% off. I'm pretty sure the shipping is like over $10, which isn't the biggest deal, but like there goes my discount, you know? And that's a palette that's over 2 years old. I just don't know about them. I did have like a thought the other day, because I think Angelica posted something about like, you know, being busy, something in the works, can't wait to tell you guys, something like that. And I was like, what if she's gonna do another collab with Kaleidos? Unless she's under like an Odin's Eye contract. I don't know. But that did occur to me because that came out in January of 2021, and I'm like, maybe they would do a part 2 in January of 2023, but I think it's possible that if that is their next large palette release, that it would still be too matte heavy for me, and it wouldn't be right for me. I have thoughts still about like wishing I had Club Nebula, but I think that like the fact remains true that like me and Angelica have different makeup styles that make us excited. and colorful mattes like aren't usually the thing that I gravitate towards. I'm a shimmer girl. Speaking of slow releases, the next one, my problem is kind of the opposite. The next one's Unearthly Cosmetics, which I have been kind of looking for my perfect palette for a while, since they were Alien Cosmetics. But I just feel like they put out so many releases, and none of them feel that special. And I finally had the moment where I saw a palette of theirs and I was like, that's the one I want to get. And I came to find out that it was like a one-time release and they're not restocking it. The palette that I have my eye on is the 1964 palette. I posted about it in my Instagram story too. There's a couple light shimmers that look really dimensional. There's a couple kind of really exciting bright colors that I feel like I don't quite have in my collection. I like the cover art. I just like it as a thing. And I really wish I could get my hands on it. So that's kind of a bummer. And that shows me that, like, if there's a palette I want from them in the future, I would have to be buying it during their first release to make sure that I get it. But then I'm like depriving myself of the opportunity to see creators swatch it. So I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to work out with me and them unless they bring that palette back. The next and final two kind of go hand in hand because they're both available at Camera Ready Cosmetics, I think the website's called. So if I were to purchase from one of them, I would probably just purchase the other one in the same order. The first one is Lethal Cosmetics. I've been going on their website, using their palette builder for so long, and I know people have been raving about their mattes for so long also, but I guess I was just never excited enough to buy from them. And also the palette builder can get kind of expensive. So spending like over $100 on a palette that's mostly mattes of a brand I haven't tried doesn't really grasp me. I think if I were to purchase from them this season, I would get maybe like one or two of the mattes. They have some nice looking neutrals. I remember Lauren May Beauty had done a video using some of their singles, and I think it was Archetype that I liked the most. Pretty basic looking transition shade, but like something about the exact tone of it I really liked. And then they've also released some like multi-chrome shadows. I don't know if they're calling them multi-chromes, but they look like multi-chromes to me, and I think Proxima was the name of the one that I was interested in. So a small order from them is definitely possible. And then the last one is Carla Cosmetics. They're like shimmer pots, like the loose, glittery, multi-chrome things. They look out of this world. Sometimes I'll see on Instagram like a picture of a lid shadow and I'll like look to see what it is, and like they have such a distinct look that's like so shiny, but also so shimmery, but also so dimensional. And I'm really interested. I think my biggest hang up is the fact that I do have like loose glitters and individual shadows that I don't use that much. And I have to kind of like remember to pull out them and use them over one of my single shadows. But I think I could be like happy with myself if I just decided on one. I think last time I looked, I had narrowed it down to two. If I remember correctly, it was like Bougie Bay and Moody Cow, I think. But they really all do look beautiful, and I wanted to try them for what feels like a really long time. I know I said 9, and that was 9, but I did think of like an honorary 10th, which is Odin's Eye. I know their eyeshadow palettes are vegan, but most of them just haven't called to me at all. The one thing that I was closest to purchasing was one of the highlighters from their most recent collection. They had that really pretty like sheer purplish packaging, and there was a highlighter that was like kind of greenish, but they weren't cheap. Like I thought they would be cheaper based on the fact that their eyeshadow palettes like aren't crazy expensive, but it was like $24 or something like that, and then with shipping it was like over $30, and it wasn't worth it to me to have like a highlighter that realistically I wouldn't use that often anyway. But I do check for them, and maybe one day there'll be a palette. I have been interested in the Christmas palette that they put out recently, and just today they were posting about their Black Friday sale, and I was looking at their website and I was thinking that if they had that palette on like a good discount, I might be tempted, but it looks like it's sold out, and I would bet they're not gonna restock it. I don't know. I mean, realistically, I don't want to buy that one just because I don't want to have like a Christmas palette in the middle of summer. Like there's some holiday things like Valentine's Day. I can do Valentine's Day year round. Usually Halloween I could do year round too. But Christmas, I'm not like a Christmas in the summer person. So maybe one day. That's gonna be everything though. I hope this was fun to watch. If you have any recommendations from these brands, anything to try or to avoid, let me know. I'd really appreciate that. I always love hearing your recommendations. Give me a like and subscribe if you like this, and that's everything. Bye.